When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit language and spoilers. This is Behind the Iron Throne, your unofficial Game of Thrones cast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, hopefully over the age of 18, because this is an explicit podcast, or at least 16, right? I think that would be a fair age, maybe, possibly. I don't know. That's on you. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Jonathan Stonemoss Starklover from Beyond the Wall, who believes he's a Stark, but I'm still saying he's a Lannister. What's up, buddy? How you doing, Mr. Beard?
So, Chris, I'm doing great. I'm a Stark, 100%. You know this. Don't try and do something. Don't try and make me a Lannister. It's never gonna happen. And maybe we lower the age to like 14, because I mean, in this day and age, 14-year-olds can listen to this podcast.
Is that your assessment? 14-year-old?
I mean, in Canada, a 14-year-old would listen to this podcast. Maybe because Canadian 14-year-olds are more mature than American 14-year-olds. I don't know.
Okay. This is episode 172. Let's see. We are recording October 15, 2017. And of course, this podcast is brought to you by, well, you and your awesome patronage, your donations to us. And of course, when you sign up to our Patreon on our website at BehindTheIronThrone.com, at least that's the link to the Patreon. And, you know, everyone out there that's been supporting us by signing up to our Audible link, which is phenomenal. There's a link in the description of this podcast and, of course, in the live video feed at Facebook.com Behind the Iron Throne. We do this show live every weekend, usually around 7:30 on Sunday, and we're talking about doing bonus episodes for our Patreon subscribers, so that's really awesome. We're working on the Patreon stuff, and we're working on T-shirt designs right now. JP, who's in our chat room, who's been a great friend of my studio here, Total Nerd Takeover Studios, he helped me do the logo. He helped me do T-shirts. He's helped me design basically every logo for the podcast network that we have, and I couldn't be more pleased. And just absolutely phenomenal work that JP has done. So here we are. We're live, and I'm really excited to see everybody in the chat room, and it's super easy to get here. Just go to facebook.com/Behind the Iron Throne, and you too can jump in our chat room, and you can talk with us and give us suggestions and any kind of questions you may have. We'll try to incorporate that, especially in a show like this, because we have literally prepared no show notes. We're going to be doing this off the seat of our pants here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So bring your questions. I know I'm not as good as Andrea in terms of answering all the technical stuff, but I will definitely do my best. If Andrea is able to pop onto the show, I didn't hear from her earlier, but she'll message me and I'll bring her on the podcast. Okay, so let's start with some good news and some bad news. This is good news for me, and I know this is killing John. It's literally killing him inside. But Sophie Turner is now engaged to a fellow named Joe Jonas. Jonas or Jonas? I don't know who this guy is.
Jonas.
Jonas?
Yeah.
Is he some kind of... I'm too lazy to Google search him. I think that he's an interesting-looking character. John, do you know anything about this fella?
He's like he was a child/teen singer who I think is acting now, but he's kind of big. Like I'd say maybe 10 years ago, maybe he was he was one of those teen sensation pop stars. He had a group called the Jonah Brothers with his two brothers. So, I mean,
really,
yeah.
He was one of the three Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, there's three of them.
That's funny. For some reason, I kind of remember, but I do remember, but I don't remember. But I tell you, what a shame. I think she could have done better.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
She could have done better than me. Like, I'm sad right now. My heart just broke.
John, you realize that with all the hard work that we've done, with the hours and hours of our lives we've given up for podcasting and videos and and all the stuff that we do online, that we are still only Z-rated celebrities, online celebrities at best. Doesn't that kind of hurt a little bit in the heart? Or should we just be like, yeah, that's awesome? Bring
I
the
mean,
enthusiasm,
like,
buddy. Make it rain.
I mean, like, it does hurt a little bit. I mean, in Canada, I'm a superstar in Canada. Like I'm up for podcast. I'm up for Canadian Podcast of the Year awards here. I'm up for the Podcast of the Year award in Canada for 2017. So
It's awesome.
you know, so yeah, so I'm a superstar in Canada, man. Like this is I'm the king. I'm king in the north. So, but yeah, like I mean,
and very
No.
humble.
very humble. I'm happy for her though. To be honest,
Yeah,
I'm
that's good.
happy for her that she's engaged. We've seen her. Like, it's funny because we've seen her like when she was a child, and now she's engaged. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. I tell you what, though, in the picture, she looks absolutely gorgeous. And Andrea posted this in the Facebook about 54 minutes ago on our Facebook group page. And I tell you, if you're not in the Facebook group, you gotta join us. It is so much fun. It's it's Club BTIT. If you search for Club BTIT on Facebook, just sign right up, and I think you just hit a button, and we will accept you into the group, and it's a lot of fun. We have such a great community and so many different awesome conversations going on there. I myself, I can't keep up with them all. Somehow Andrea does. I don't know how she does it, but absolutely she does a phenomenal job.
She doesn't sleep. I'm
She
convinced
must
she
not.
doesn't sleep. She's
She
a
must
robot.
not.
She doesn't sleep.
She does. She is working on she's a book club also. There's a book club where she's going over the Game of Thrones series books there, and she works very hard at that. I know that she just got over being sick, and her throat's finally gotten better, so she's feeling better, and she's working a lot more in that in the book club. So that's cool. So John had not committed suicide because Sophie Turner is going to marry somebody other than him. That's good. We love you, John. We need you here on the show.
I'll just move on to Amelia Clark. She's always the backup, so I'll just
congrats
move on
to
to
Sophie.
Amelia Clark.
It's a great time to be engaged. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
And when you're married, I will welcome you to the funeral club. I mean, to the club.
Nice.
Let's see here. So something else really interesting happened. Now I love the audiobook. Hey, Trisha Woods, my business partner here at the studio, Total Nerd Takeover
What's up,
Studios.
Trish?
She's here in the chat. That's awesome. AJ's here. Eric's here. Ryan's here. Armani's here. So many awesome people. Cindy was here. I don't know if she's still here or not. Very exciting. So much fun when everybody's here.
Yeah, you guys are amazing.
JB is here. Just a phenomenal group. Because, like I said,
think
like we've
Trin
always
is
tried
here
to say,
too.
this podcast is not just about us talking at you. We like to talk with you. We like to have conversation. That's why we put so much emphasis on the Facebook group and not so much on our website at behindtheironthrone.com. It's just nice to be able to talk to everybody, and I have to get more active myself, John, in the group. But I send videos in from time to time. I take a video of myself looking like the Night King, and that
was
actually came
creepy.
out pretty good, didn't it?
That came out funny. It was creepy though. But it was funny at
It's
first.
not creepy.
I like the Star Wars one.
Well, that was cool, yeah. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you go to Facebook and you do, you go to do a post, you can do a video post, and you can actually put that overlay over your face, the Night King, which I'm surprised they're still doing that even after the season is over. But that's cool, and that's what I did. I did a little video. You can see it on the Facebook page. So, John, I know you haven't done this yet, but a really interesting book called the Book of Swords came out, and I got it on Audible, and it's cool. It's a bunch of different novellas from different authors and stuff. And I think the main guy that set it up is one of George R. R. Martin's friends. Now, George R. R. Martin has a novella called The Sons of the Dragon, which is one of the stories. It's like the very last story on this audiobook. And I thought it was awesome. And like Eric is saying, hashtag Team Magor. And at first, I was under the belief, like many other people in the Game of Thrones universe, that the Targaryens were crazy, and you flipped a coin, and it was 50-50, whether you got a nut job Targaryen or a normal like a regular, sane Targaryen. When I got done listening to the audiobook, and I'm not going to do too much spoiling here, even though the story is pretty much it's out there, it's easy to get to. I definitely recommend the book, even though I think it's $35. Unless you have an Audible subscription, which you can get through our link, you can get the book for free for a credit. Because when you sign up with our audio, even if you try it for free, you get one of our you get a credit for free. Maegor was actually Maegor the Cruel definitely makes sense, but he was definitely not mad. He was mad as an angry, possibly, but not mad as crazy. But we've talked about that on a previous episode where we went over the Targaryens and not being crazy, and we're probably going to go over it again in more detail. One, after more people have the ability to listen to that book or read it, depending on what your passion is, and of course, because I don't want to spoil too much, even though probably most of the people in the chat have already either listened to it, read it, or have heard us talk about it a million times. And of course, I want to have Andre here because she's probably busy breaking it down right now and looking for all the secret code that's hidden in what George R. R. Martin writes. So it shouldn't be much of a. Armani says they claim that Maegor is worse than Ramsay and Joffrey, and that could very well be. What do you think, John?
I don't. Can you be worse than Joffrey? I don't know if you can be worse than Joffrey, man. I mean, he was pretty cruel. I mean, that's what incest will do to you. You're either going to be normal, or you're going to be insane. That's usually what happens.
I don't think that incest is the reason for that so much. Does that make sense? I think that that would be more like a retardation or some kind of handicap. I don't know if insanity could that be directly related to incest. Either way, Maegor was a badass, and his older brother was a wimp.
He had 6 wives.
Oh yeah, that's right. He had 6 wives. JB says, "Do you think the Targaryens can't have children unless it's incest?" No, they can. There's been a couple of. Well, Maegor had some serious issues, but I believe that they can. That's an interesting question. Now, Andrea would have some kind of really awesome statistic that I don't have. Somehow she remembers all that stuff. I don't know how she does it, John.
She's got the books. It's crazy. She's really smart. Like, she's really, really smart. Like, people when it comes to Game of Thrones.
What I wanted to ask you, John, was we were talking just now about Maegor possibly being worse than Joffrey or Ramsay, and it got me to thinking about Euron from the last season. I remember there was so much hype about Euron being this crazy, badass dude, and he was. And I remember also hearing that we hadn't seen anything yet in terms of how evil a character could be. He was supposed to be worse than Joffrey and worse than Ramsay, right, John?
Yeah, that's what they said.
And I didn't see it. Now, maybe people in the chat want to chime in and let us know if they saw that happen. But I certainly didn't see it. What about you, John?
I didn't see it all either. But I mean, like I said, you can't be worse than Ramsay was a sick, sadistic maniac. So is Joffrey. I mean, I don't know if Euron is that level of crazy. Like, he's more like he's cruel, but he's not like he's not Ramsay sadistic, feed you to the dogs, feed the baby and stepmother to the dogs type crazy. I think Euron's a little bit more just he's more cruel in a different sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Real quick, Trin says, our very own Trin from the podcast, she's not feeling very well. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it to the podcast. We love you anyway. She says, I think Maegor was just sterile. Other Targs had non-Targaryen spouses that produced children. And, yeah, I totally agree. Let's see, JB says, Dany didn't have a child with Drogo.
Yeah.
If she has a child with Jon, it might have proved my point. Well, she did. Well, technically, she did have a child with Danny. Well, with Danny and Drago, they had the stallion that was going to mount the world. I forget what she named the kid, but the child was delivered in that tent when Marin Mazdul was doing her whole blood ritual with the horse and Drago, and the baby was born, I think, stillborn. At least in the HBO series, the Mary Magdul says, "Oh, he had the head of a lizard and a tail of a lizard," or something like that. Describing how the child was deformed or whatever. So we never actually got to see the child. But yeah, technically that was a child that was born. And would it have been born properly and not stillborn or defected or defaulted or messed up or like a creature? We'll never know. Yes.
Yeah, but I think she's pregnant with John's baby. But I mean, Eric says when you kill a woman pregnant with his child just to give blood sacrifice to the gods. Was that Magar who did that? Or was that
Cal Rago. Okay, thanks, Armani. Awesome. So, John, where were we? Where were we about? So with Euron, do you think that we're going to see more action from Euron in the next season?
6 episodes? I mean, I think we're gonna see probably a showdown with Theon.
Between
think
Euron and Theon,
Yeah,
having a showdown, maybe to rescue said sister?
yeah.
You think that's possible? I think that Yara's still alive, and I hope to God that she doesn't get killed. I really liked her character. She was a lot of fun, and in a way, she kind of helped to rescue Theon. You know what I mean? Like she kind of brought him somewhat back to I don't want to say reality, but to a state of normalcy. So I'd hate to see. I'd like to see him kind of redeem himself. You know what I mean?
I kind of think he did redeem himself.
Well, I mean,
to
more
redeem
so.
to who? To who though? Because I think he redeemed himself to the Starks in a way by helping Sansa. Maybe does he need to redeem himself for what he jumping off the boat? I mean, he couldn't do anything much. Like, I mean, he had the axe to the throat. Like, there wasn't much he could do. So, I mean, I think he's redeemed, but
So you're okay. So you believe that he's redeemed. You believe that Theon has redeemed himself, even though he jumped off the boat and let his sister be captured. What would you? Okay, let me ask you this question: what would you have done in a situation like that? You're on the boat. There's fire all around you, blood, chaos, all kinds of crazy shit, and Euron's got your sister, the person that basically has rescued you and has gotten you back to a state of normalcy. And what would you do?
that's a tough question. That's tough because if I have to read because it's all in the moment, right? So it's very tough because it's different if we say it now than we're thinking it because adrenaline's rushing. I mean, I'm gonna read the situation and maybe I do jump off the boat because I'm thinking he's got the axe to the throat. I mean, he's not gonna let her go. So they'll live to fight another day. I guess that's what I would do. I mean, if I try to lunge at him and try to attack him, he slices the throat and she dies, and then I'm most likely gonna die next. So I'm
kind of shit out of luck.
Yeah,
I mean, you're shit out of luck. Eric says the show doesn't do too much, doesn't give too much time to develop Euron, like they did with Ramsay and Joffrey. You have 4 seasons with Joffrey and 3 seasons with Ramsay. Euron only had 5 scenes in the show. So that's
actually,
excellent point.
4 seasons with Ramsay.
Was it 4? Well, either way.
Well, season 3, season 4, season 5, season 6.
Well, either way,
4.
Eric does make an excellent point. And Tom says, we'll see Yara, but Euron will have done some horrible things to her. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Armani has a really good question. Who else deserves a redemption arc? So who in your eyes deserves a redemption arc? For me, it's Jaime Lannister all the way. And I think that he's on another redemption arc myself because I love Jaime Lannister. I know everyone's like, "Oh, you're a fucking piece of shit." I don't care. I like him.
I
The Hound. Armani says the Hound. That's a great suggestion. What do you think about the Hound?
Well, first, I think the Hound redeemed himself. He's been doing a lot since he left.
No way he's fully redeemed himself yet.
But what does he have to redeem for? He didn't really do. What did he really do that needs to be redeemed? Like, I mean, Jamie, I think I said this past episode. Jamie's redeemed because he went against his sister. I think he's redeemed. What did the Hound really do? Really, I mean, he left after he didn't really do anything to anyone. He left after the Battle of Blackwater. He helped. He kind of watched over Arya. I mean, what does he really need to be redeemed for?
Well, don't forget he rode down the butcher's boy, right?
True, but I mean,
And what about all the stuff in his history that they don't like? There's no way that he just showed up as, he has a whole backstory of bad things that he's done.
I just think in show wise, I don't think he needs to be redeemed because I don't think he did enough to where you could be. And if it's and he helped Arya out, he went with John. He did all that. I think he helped build a sept. I think that is. I think if he's gonna be redeemed, I think he's already been redeemed. I think he was a changed person when he I think I can't remember this guy's name, but that's that guy Ian McShane's character kind of changed him a little bit.
No, I think that you're right actually, and AJ agrees the Hound is fully redeemed. And even if he's not technically, I don't even know who would actually, unless the writers or George says, but in my eyes, I would have to agree that he's pretty much redeemed. Even if he's not, his story arc has been pretty fun. I honestly believe that he wasn't coming back. I don't know if everyone remember, if anyone's listened to previous episodes of the podcast, back before season 5? At the end of season 5, or maybe it was?
Yeah.
I said, was it season 5? Whenever, I didn't think the Hound was coming back. I swear to God, he was not coming back. And
no, season 4.
Was it season 4?
Yeah, because season 5 Arya was in. Because season 5 Arya was in Bravos, in the House of the Undying.
Okay,
the House of the Black and White. Yeah.
End of season 4. Okay, confirmation from you and from Cindy. Awesome. Okay, so yes, I said no way he's coming back, and I didn't believe the Gravedigger theory. That's all over the internets, right? I mean, it's all over Reddit. It's all over anywhere you go. Everyone believes the Gravedigger theory. And I said, no way is it happening in the show. And then, boom, it happens. And, of course, I look like an idiot again.
I need to, for me, I had a feeling as a liar because I need to see in Game of Thrones, and not just Game of Thrones, any show, I need to see a body. Okay, I need to see a body for confirmation that someone's dead or alive. Yeah, but it doesn't even matter
because there's a couple of shows I'm watching now, like in Gotham. I'm not going to spoil anything, but people die, and you see a dead body, and then they come back from the dead.
True, but like I until there was confirmation, I thought Stannis was somewhat still alive because I thought,
Wait a minute.
And yeah. Up until there was, because this is like right after this episode, season 5, episode 10, and I'm like, Stannis is still alive. And then you see videos where people actually made convincing arguments where you can hear steel on steel. You can, there's a lot of like people put really good YouTube videos where it actually explains how he could have survived. And, I'm like, I need to see a body. Why would they not show him getting his head cut off? I mean, this is Game of Thrones, right? They don't really shy away from violence. So I kind of, until there was confirmation, I thought he was still alive.
Okay. But what would have been the point? Looking back, what we know now as show watchers, what would have been the point?
There was a theory that his army never deserted, that his army just hid and tried to. No, there's
That's funny.
If you go on YouTube,
are you kidding me?
Because he spends all this time looking at this map, right? Yeah. And so he would maybe, and there's a theory that he hid all of his men with horses and only sent that force in to kind of trick the Boltons into thinking his army abandoned, and then he would go like it's. There's a YouTube video. I don't want to get too much into it.
I understand. I'm not a huge theory guy. I mean, you listen to the podcast, I'm more of a if I don't see it, I don't believe it kind of thing, and that's why I get a lot of my predictions wrong. where Andrea and John and Trin, they all look between the lines and seem to be able to pull predictions out of their ass, and they're accurate. Damn, I'm so jealous. Anywho, it's just not the way my mind works. I just can't see Stannis saying, okay, or Stannis' army saying, okay, you burned your child alive. Okay, very good. And you want us to go hide in the bushes over there, right over there, and wait for the signal to come out. Like, are you kidding me? You just burned your kid. We're out of
Well,
here. See ya.
Forgetting one thing, they're sellswords. They're not exactly the most honorable.
Yeah, but
people.
sellswords even know when it's time to bail, because
but
there's no old bold sellswords, right? Is that how the saying goes? There's no old bold sellswords.
But if you leave, it gets out, and now no one's gonna hire you because they're gonna be like, "Well, you ran out on the guy who paid you. Why should we hire you now?" Like, so that's why I personally didn't like the fact that you had them abandoning him. I would have found a different way to have Stannis defeated, but not have this, because the sellswords don't leave. They're paid. You know, if they leave, it's gonna get outward, and now all of a sudden people are gonna hire you because you left your old boss. So sellswords, that's the whole point of sellswords. I would have done something different, but that's just me. Like I thought that was really ridiculous. Sellswords abandoning them. Like, come on.
I don't think that's beyond the realm of possibilities, though. I mean, didn't the sellswords abandon their hiring people to jump over to Dany's side after Dario decapitated them?
Yeah, but that's different. He killed the leaders and took over. But there's a, I mean, I see what you're saying there, but they didn't really jump. They just went to a different buy. Like, they went to a different buyer. I think. Like, you can. I think you can. Like, I think it's better for someone to hire you, giving you more money. Like, you can outbid like Stannis could hire a sellsword, but then Bolditz could be like, okay, we're gonna give you more money. You just switch sides. That I could see more happening than sellswords abandoning. And where are they gonna go? Like, you're in the north. Like, you know, it's like how does all the men? They had a lot of men and horses. They just vanished. Like, and with no one else noticing. Like, how does
don't
Stannis
forget
sleep
a lot of their horses died. Let me just read a couple of these things in the chat before to go away. Natalie wrote, apparently they're filming multiple endings to avoid spoilers. One of my favorite guesses for a fake ending is Stannis showing up, leading a huge host and defeating the Night King at the last minute. Oh, that's funny. Like with Mance's army. Armani says, John, the Lords of Westeros are no different than sellswords. Do you remember how easily everyone abandoned Stannis after Blackwater?
Did they really abandon him, or did he lose like a chunk? He lost a chunk of men. Like,
he lost a huge chunk. And then
I don't know
says
if people abandoned. He burnt Lords because he went crazy afterwards. But I mean, he lost the bulk of men when the wildfire, and he lost more men when Tywin came in. I have to. Andrew would know that, but I mean, he started burning people like crazy.
Natalie also says it's really only the Golden Company that has the kind of reputation. Most people know that sellswords are fickle and likely to desert if the money isn't there. But I'll tell you what, if you paid me a bunch of gold, right, or whatever you paid me in doubloons or whatever, and I'm standing there with my guys behind me, and you put your kid up on a spike or up on a burning pyre, and you burn her like no fucks given. I'm like, ho, no, we got to go, guys. This guy's nuts. He's not in his right mind. I'm out of here.
See, I don't think
half the horses were dead.
But I don't think that bothers sellswords, because didn't Bronn say, like, didn't Tyrion ask Bronn once before, would you kill a child? And he goes, I can't remember the answer. He said, yes, I would, if the money or something like that. Bronn actually, I can't remember the quote, but Bronn didn't say no.
True, but Bronn is also the kind of guy who he would sniff around and smell a loss, and he's out. He's out like Trap Buddy.
Well, he didn't leave when he didn't leave Jamie when at the Field of Fire 2.0. You know,
I think that's because Jamie still owes him a castle.
He also didn't leave when he saw when he saw the Unsullied, and then he saw the Thraki roll in, and like, I mean, that's a scary sight. He still didn't leave then. I mean, it's, you know, and he can easily get a castle if he switches to Daenerys' side. Tyrion would give him a castle, no problem. So I mean, there is. So, I mean, I just Cell Store's abandoning is something I'm like, you're stretching, George R. R. Martin. You're stretching.
Well, either way, they abandoned half their food and their horses were gone. And he went in with a pitiful force. He got wiped. He got his ass wiped. Stannis the Manus. And I never really liked Stannis myself. I think you said you liked him, didn't you?
I liked him. Yeah, I
Surprising.
liked him. Listen, he's kind of he's kind of a badass. Like he's the way he approaches things. I kind of like. It's especially the one line. Like for me, what got me the most is when he's went after the fire in Blackwater, just destroyed his fleet, and he goes, "Send the men," and he's like, "Hundreds will die." And he's like, "Thousands," and I'm like, "Whoa!" He doesn't give a fuck, and he just goes down and he starts fighting, and he's like the first guy up on the wall, like, and he's like, stand it, like even when he sees the Lannister army like just destroying his men, he's like, stand and fight, like he doesn't want to leave. I mean, I gotta give credit where credit. I mean, Stannis is a kind of a badass in that. He's a terrible person. Don't get me wrong, but he's a fucking, he's a badass. I mean, like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I think one of his biggest mistakes, Catelyn, if I remember, even said, you guys stop playing and join forces. If the two, if Stannis and what's the brother's name? I can't remember his name.
Renly.
And Renly, the pillow biter, if they would have joined forces with Jon, they could have wiped all the competition out, and we'd be having a lot different conversations.
I mean, Rob.
What did I say?
You said John.
Oh, I mean Rob. Yeah, sorry, I got John in the brain. I'm looking at a picture of John. Yeah, I agree, Eric. The show didn't do justice to Stannis. I do think that. Well, I don't know. I enjoyed his character, but I didn't like his character. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Renly didn't have the mindset to be a king or to fight. Like he had.
I don't think Renly would have been a bad king. I just think
He
that he was a little too weak.
He had more men than anybody in that during season 2. He had more men than everyone because all the Stormlands, because he was Lord of the Stormlands, so he had all the Stormlands, and he had the Tyrell army, so he had 100,000 men, and he did nothing. He just sat there. Even Catelyn called him and said, "This is all game to you." Like, Rob's fighting war. He's fighting battles, and he's watching Brienne fight Loras Tyrell. When you have 100,000 men, like, I mean, he had no mindset at all. It was all a game to Renly.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think that he would have made a pretty decent king. But there would have been no way. I guess there was no way he would have survived in the long run.
He would have been a good king. Renly would have been a good king.
And even Trent says that Renly would have been a great king because people loved him. If Stannis didn't play dirty, Renly and Robb could have won. Eric says Renly was a poser.
He was.
Well, either way, he's dead. I do still think that Melisandre with her smoke baby magic. I think that was a. I wonder why we haven't seen any of that kind of magic from her again, like any more smoke baby. Well, she did say to Stannis that she couldn't do it because his fires were burning low or something like that. And I remember watching this and thinking to myself, if he's supposed to be the prince that was promised, right? Because Mel believed that he was, then his fire shouldn't have been burning low, right?
But she even admitted it was a mistake.
But that was later,
yeah.
though. It was way after
Yeah.
the fact.
I don't think we're going to see the last of Melisandre. I think she'll be back for season 6. I think she's going to do something more. I think she's going to get all the red priestess together.
For what? What do you think they're going to do? Like some kind of magical?
Because she
chant?
says she's going where? I think she said she was a Volantis, right?
Yeah, I thought that's what she said she was going on.
Yes, I think she's going to get all the red priestess. I think because I think they all have. I wonder if they all have magic, or like
See,
I mean,
I don't think so.
That one knew about that one. That one girl knew about. She knew about this. She knew about thing. She knew about I can't remember his name now. Varys. She knew about Varys. Like and Varys got a little bit creeped out. So there is. I mean, I'm wondering if they all have power and maybe she gets them all together and does some kind of magic to help fight the. because she knows the Night's King's coming. She knows all that, so she's totally with that. So it's gonna be. I think she'll be back. You know,
Well, here's one thing that always confuses me, right? Kinvara and Melisandre both have that ruby necklace thing on their neck, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Thoros of Myr, I always want to call him Forrest, like Forrest Gump. Hello, my name is Forrest Gump. I worship the Lord. Come on, the Lord of Light. I was running. Sorry about that. So Thoros of Myr doesn't have a magical glowing pendant, right? So I wonder if the women, but we've only. Do you remember the girl that we saw? Where the hell was it? Was it Bravos? No, where Tyrion and
I think that was Volantis.
was that
Yeah, where
Volantis?
Tyrion gets captured by Euron by
Jorah
Jorah.
Mormont, yeah. And
Yeah,
we
that
saw
was
and we saw the
Volantis.
one the priestess. Did she
Yeah,
have
she
one
was-
on her neck too?
I have to go back and look, but yeah, that was Volantis. Trin says, did Melisandre friend zone Stannis, or did Stannis friend zone Melisandre? Stannis friend zone Melisandre because he didn't want to have sex with Melisandre in season 2. She kind of what's the word? Of course, what's the word? I can't pronounce the word. Coerced him into doing it because he was faithful to his
coaxed.
wife. Yeah, because he is a man of say he will. He is a man of principles and honor, and he wouldn't cheat on his wife, but she kind of coerced him into doing it. She seduced him into doing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So back to my point with Thoros of Myr not having that red ruby. I wonder if the female part of the religion, if they have more power or if they're able to channel the magic more so than the men, because we don't see a lot of rules here, right? I mean, at least in the HBO series, we're not seeing a lot of basic guidelines to how the religion works or to who actually has the power. And I still believe that no matter who you are, you know, Melisandre obviously has some kind of magic because when she takes the necklace off and you turn her and she turns around and you look back at her, she's got old lady granny boobies. So something is there. I hope that Kinvara doesn't have that same thing.
Well,
Anywho, so why doesn't we've only seen one male priest in the show, unless I'm wrong, that is a follower of Allure, right? Thoros of Myr.
is he a priest though of that, or is he just a guy that kind of got that power? I was just gonna say, like, we only know Red Priestess. We don't know if there's actual Red Priest in that religion. Like, is Thoros of Myr an actual priest, or was he just given that power? Is he actual priest?
Well, that's what I'm getting
I'm
at.
yeah.
I'm getting at that it's not. They don't have power themselves. Without the necklace, they can't make themselves look good or use their glamour. But R'hllor channels his power through them. No, I definitely agree, Eric. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. But I'm confused because we've never given a lot of confirmation of that. Yeah, Eric says that Thoros of Myr was a priest of the Lord of Light. So what's going on there? How come he doesn't have a nice, cute charm? Or maybe you have to get to a certain age to battle death. I'm going to see if I can get Trin in the call. Yay. Now, Trin is not feeling 100%, so if she has to skedaddle, then we know why. Add her to the group call here. See what can happen on the podcast. This is why you got to be here live. And I know there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast. I see how many people download it. Don't hesitate. Get on Facebook and join up with us and connect with us on Facebook. It is so much fun. You are a part of the community. Hashtag BTIT for life.
Hi, guys.
Hey, there's Trin.
Hey.
How are you? Welcome
How's
to the
my
show.
audio?
You sound great.
Sound great.
Our very own, literally, Trin has the ability to whisper and command dragons.
Yes. I'm a little under the weather tonight, guys. So if I'm like AFK, and for my gamer friends, that means away from keyboard, or the old school chat room people, you know that AFK means.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put my AFK tag up.
Or BRB. Or just BRB.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Yes. But I miss you guys so much.
It's good to have you here.
Too.
So you're enjoying our conversation in the chat. You had to come in here and join us.
Yeah.
You had to, right?
Yeah, I actually was like laying in bed watching you guys on my phone, and I was like, all right, I gotta help John with his pronunciation and and Chris with his names because Andrea's not here. So somebody's got to be here to balance it.
Yeah. I don't know where Andrea is. I haven't heard from her. So
Oh, she's
Hope-
probably reading.
hopefully she's okay, or she's doing the book club thing.
Yeah, she's been super busy with the book club.
So what do you think, Trent? What are your thoughts about Melisandre, Kinvara, and Thoros of Myr? You know, you were listening in the chat how, we were talking about the ladies seem to have the ruby gems, and we've only seen one male priest so far that I can remember, and he doesn't have any gems or any magical, items on him. So is it the women that have all the magic, and is any magic there that's performed because the Lord of Light performs it through them? They're just channeling it, or do the priests have power themselves?
I would say the priests probably, well, they obviously have power themselves because Thoros brings people back. We don't know a whole lot about the other priests. There's one other priest that we see male, a male priest in Marine who was talking to the people of Marine, and I believe it was Tyrion and Varys kind of walked upon him right before the fleet was lit on fire. Do you remember that
Oh
part?
yeah, that's right. And he didn't have a
Yeah.
gem.
He did not have a gem, but he was dressed in red, and he had that oh gosh, what's the name of the shape? It's not. It's like an octagon, but it's like a oblong sort of octagon. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Or maybe it's not. It's six-sided, I think, but it's the same as the other two's gems. It's that same shape, and he had that pattern. You know who else has that pattern? Was Quaith. Her mask was that
yeah,
pattern.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Who was
So that
a character,
pattern's come up.
a character we
mentioned
didn't
that.
get to see too much of later on. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, because has a lot bigger role in the book.
Yeah.
A lot bigger.
Yeah, hexagon pattern. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Red Priest has power because Thoros keeps bringing people back to life.
But is that not R'hllor working through him? Because if Thoros could bring anybody back then, and he's only ever
Well,
tried to do his
Yeah,
buddy.
but I feel like the females, their power is whatever R'hllor wants it to be as well. Like even because Melisandre says, "I only to John, I only brought you back because the Lord of Light wanted me to bring you back. Like I can't bring you back on my own."
Yeah. Thoros only brings back good old, thank you, Eric, Beric Dondarrion, who is one of John Stomas Duckdarian's favorite characters.
Hey, here we go.
Mhm.
There we go.
There's actually, we're actually talking about making a shirt, okay?
Yes.
It has Beric's body, John's head, and a duck beak on it. And on the top it says, it'll say like, Behind the Iron Throne podcast host, Jonathan Stomas, Lord Duckdarian, quack, quack.
I will wear that shirt proudly.
You have to wear it at the con too.
I will.
You
I
will
can't wait.
be.
Man, I'm so
You'll be
excited.
a Z-list celebrity.
See, there you go.
A-list in Canada.
Oh, did you want to mention the offer code?
Oh yeah. So if you guys go onto the Con of Ice and Fire right now, just Google it, and it's an official con. It's going to be in Ohio this year at the end of April, I believe. I don't have the exact dates, but I can pull those up. If you go in and you're buying a ticket, put in the coupon code THRONIES, and you'll get $5 off of any ticket that you buy.
Yay!
So we are good friends with KK and Tara, and they're offering a discount to our fans. So make sure you put that coupon code in, and you'll get $5 off of your ticket to entrance to the. I think they only have weekend passes. They might have day passes, but I haven't actually looked in it. I know that I'm going to be buying mine here by the end of the month,
Yeah,
mostly
me too.
because I know they're going to run out. They only have a limited amount of tickets that they're going to sell. I think they're keeping it under 500. So, because they have a very intimate con and they do a lot of really freaking fun stuff. They have cool panels, they have cool games, a lot of interactive, entertainment the entire time. They bring in musicians. It's really fun. I had a great time last year. I was kind of by myself, and it was awkward being that one person, but I have friends now, and my hopefully Thronies go, and I know
Well,
that BTIT's going to be there.
I'll
John was
be
gonna
there.
Yes.
You let me know when you buy your tickets, and I'll buy the same day, so we'll be on the same
Yeah.
page. So I'll
Yeah,
get
I'm,
the
And I know
same
that
day as you.
I'm
the
working on.
resort. Oh, go ahead, John.
I'm
Or
working on
Chris?
trying to get there for April. The problem with April is my wife is she's in the tax industry, so she works weekends, Mondays or Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and I have to have someone watch my son. So we're trying to figure out what we can do to get around that. And I'm trying to go to both the cons this year. So my wife and I are trying to figure out how to do that because I want to go to both. And the other con is in Texas, right? In Dallas.
Yes, that one's going to be in July, and so we'll probably start talking about that after the holidays, because we'll have a little more time for that one. I got to talk to some of their. I'm friends with some of their promoters and organizers on Twitter, and I do talk to them every now and then. But I got to really get down and like sit down and talk with them about what's going on, if we can get a promotion code for our fans and
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. But it's the Ice of Fire Con is at the Deer Creek Lodge in Mount Sterling, Ohio. It's April 27th through the 29th. So tax season should be over, Chris. By then.
Oh, it's not.
So Natalie
Is
says
it the end? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst
Natalie,
part.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it goes all the way for my wife. And then all the extensions. It gets bad.
So Natalie says she got her tickets for Dallas. So I'm gonna see
Nice,
you there,
Natalie.
Natalie.
Yeah,
says
I'll be
it's in
there
May.
too.
Cindy says it's in May. I don't know which one you're talking about, Cindy. Is that the which con you're talking about? But Natalie, if you're going to Dallas, I'm gonna be there. So look out. Have some Game of Thrones.
Nice.
Be awesome. Like I want to meet the Thronies. Like guys, I want to meet all of you. Okay, so guys,
Yeah.
be there. I want to meet all of you. So
If
you can talk to
everyone that downloads
Drink.
this podcast, though, John, if everyone that downloads this podcast you signed up, right now there would be no, you wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh, Cindy, you're right. The Con of Thrones is in May. I think it's Memorial Day weekend, actually. I think it's the long weekend.
Cool.
So we've got one at the end of April and then a month later. So this year, Andrea and I went to the one they had in Nashville, Con of Thrones, and it was in July, like the 4th of July weekend or right before, right after, I don't remember. So that's why I was thinking July. But you're right, it's in May. Ooh, we're going to have to
Come and me and
do a lot
Trina
of
get
traveling.
drunk together.
Yeah.
Me and Trina get drunk together.
I'll
Okay,
be
people,
drunk with you
so
at
Me and
the
Trina are gonna get drunk
Con of Ice
together.
and Fire
Be
for
crazy.
sure.
Crazy.
Natalie says I met Trin and Andre in Nashville before. I knew
Oh,
about
yeah.
BTIT, so now
Oh
I
my
can
gosh,
meet you all
Natalie!
over
Now I
again.
know who you are. Yes, I'm so excited that you're watching right now.
That's
Yay!
awesome. But
Yeah,
we have to
we
be
had
careful.
like drinks with her.
We have to be careful because of all the BTIT club were to sign up and actually go to the Con of Thrones or Ice and Fire Con. For Ice and Fire Con, we would sell them out. So that would be
Oh
awesome.
yeah, definitely.
We have a lot
But
of
so use that
downloaders.
Thronies because that way we can kind of keep track of who's going, and then we can do like a special meet and greet for the Thronies if we get enough of you
Yeah.
guys together in one place. So definitely use the
Hey, we
coupon
lost you.
code.
Thronies, yeah, it's Thronies. Is it capitals? Does it matter? It's
No,
all caps. Just
it's,
Thronies.
I think it's all capitals.
Okay, just try it both ways if it doesn't work, but use the code Thronies. And John, if everything works out, are you still planning on busing it to here and then you and I driving?
I'm either. It
We'll
depends.
have to
I'll
figure
either
it out.
bust it or
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet up with you first so we can do the road trip. But I'm either gonna bust it or I'm gonna plane ride it down. Like I'm gonna have to plane ride down to Dallas. So that's a given.
So am I.
So we'll see how it is next year goes. So you know.
The problem is always budget. That, and my wife says to me, because she's not a nerd, she's like, "Why are you? What are you? You want to do what?" It's like,
Mhm.
oh, what are you going to do? Anyhow, so it's really exciting. Super. I can't wait to meet our fans and to meet all the other people in person that podcast like we do, and they create content. So awesome. All right, so we got distracted from our conversation with the magics of the Lord of Light and Merlor. Probably one of my favorite religions is the Lord of Light and their magical abilities. I'm just curious. I would like to know more. I would like more details on that religion, and I would like to know more about. Hopefully, we get some more on Melisandre anyway, because I feel like there's so much more with her that hasn't come out yet. And I can't help to wonder if it's going to have something to do with this big battle at the end. If she's going to show up with Lightbringer, and everything's going to be a wonderful, happy ending, and everything's going to work out okay. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I still believe that we're going to get a Fade to Black, which is going to piss me off to no end. I don't know what my co-hosts think.
Not.
You don't think so, John?
We're not.
I don't
No,
think so either.
And I think
No.
I think the reason Night's King is taking so long to cross is I think he's waiting to see where Lightbringer is before he crosses, because he could have crossed. I mean, obviously he's not because of the show wise, but I'm thinking, in books wise, maybe he's stalling because he's got this massive army and he's kind of just taking his sweet little time to cross. Because we've seen that army since season 2. I think he's. I don't know what the show wise is, just because they're trying to stretch it out. But I think in books wise, I think he's waiting to see where Lightbringer is. So that's the one thing he fears is Lightbringer. So he's got to make sure there's no Lightbringer. I don't know. That's crazy, but I like the old gods. I'm an old gods type of guy.
Okay.
I do too.
Armani says
We
I'd like to know about the gods of Valyria. So would I.
Well,
honestly.
we can do a podcast. We can do an episode on the old gods. We can do the podcast of Gods of Valyria. We could do one on the Lord of Light. So
Yeah, and we did some of those episodes years ago. At this, oh my God, I can actually say that years ago.
now we have
Quite
Andrew.
literally. No,
Now
but-
we have
but
Andrea,
now
so
we
we
have
can
Andrea,
make it
yeah.
a little bit more information because Andrea's will know more. So
She is literally the Wikipedia in real life. Like you could say,
Right.
"Hey, compute this, beep boop beep boop boop," and she has the answer. It's like, how do you do that?
she should dress. If we're all dressing up, she should dress as one of the. I'm spacing out the head. What's the call? What's the head?
Like Archmeister.
Oh, the Archmaester?
Archmeister. She should be like the. She should dress like the Archmeister. Like that'd be like super great. Because she's like the smartest person when it comes to Game of Thrones. So she should. That's how she should dress as.
Yes. Yeah. So did you guys were talking about news earlier. Did you see the crazy Twitter stuff about Jason Momoa?
No,
No, I thought you were
Oh,
gonna mention that
no.
a certain person. I thought you were gonna mention that Sophie Turner got engaged.
Oh yeah, no, I know. It's heartbreaking to you, John.
It
But
is,
you said
it
you were
is.
gonna go after Amelia now.
Now I'm going Amelia. So she was always my number 2. So she's gonna be. So there you go. But what about Jason Momoa?
Nothing. So at I think the Comic Con of 2012 or something. It was after the first season because obviously he plays Khal Drogo and he is only in the first season. And he said something along the lines of in this, I don't know, in this series, I get to be like a savage and I get to do really crazy things like kill people and rape beautiful women and do all these horrible things. And this was 6 years ago. Well, I guess with all the political stuff that's going on, people are bringing that back up and trying to say that he's this horrible person. And I just want to put it out there that he's playing a fictional character in a fictional world and he's talking about his specific character.
he's talking about
And
imagination.
I'm never going to condone or gloss over rape culture, but I really don't think that he's a terrible person because it was all in context of being a savage. And so anyway, Twitter's been blowing up about it, disowning him. And I just think,
was
he's
years
a great
ago.
person. I know, and it was
Aquaman
years
people.
ago.
I hate Twitter.
He's
I know.
Aquaman, people. Okay, get people. He's Aquaman.
He's actually
okay?
going to make
Let's-
Aquaman cool.
Yeah.
Well, I
And
mean,
they're
I
mad.
don't know
They
about
should
that,
get
but
Yeah, you do
mad
know
at
about that, John.
George R.
Don't even talk shit.
well, no, I'm saying he's already cool because the New 52 remade Aquaman cool again. That's all. I don't want to get to it. It's the Game of Thrones,
Well,
but they
either
remade-
way,
I'm glad. No, I'm glad
he's gonna be
that
cool.
he made Aquaman cool again because Aquaman was kind of a sissy.
nobody wanted.
What's
No one
funny
ever wants to
is-
dress up as Aquaman. Now they will.
Right?
What's funny is his Aquaman is just Khal Drogo. Like if you look at it, everyone says it's just Khal Drogo, just in a costume. Like it's essentially
It's fine
almost
by
like
me.
he almost looks like Khal Drogo, which is awesome. So
Except for this time, he won't die like a bitch, like a stupid
Mm.
bitch. I'll tell you what, though. I can't. This is what I hate Twitter. And this is why I have all this stuff on Facebook. I
he was
hate
my most
Twitter.
disappointing character.
Twitter is my
show.
most disappointing social media. I just do not like Twitter. And if you want to get a hold of me on Twitter, it's Chris J Gray 7. And I do respond on Twitter, just not that often. I just can't stand it. It's so much garbage.
Khal Drogo is actually my most disappointing character
Really?
because even in the books and the show, because he does nothing, like, and he just dies in like the first book. He dies in the first season 1. And look at what we get. Look what we get with the Field of Fire. The Dothraki. They're crazy. They're freaking. You got guys jumping over men and fighting. You got guys horse. They're standing on their horse and archers. One guy's wielding 2 of those weapons against Jaime. And then I'm like thinking to myself, imagine if Drogo was there, just a bat like his
Yeah,
little
that would be cool.
scenes were freaking bad. Like all of his little scenes were badass when he freaking pours the freaking
Gold.
the gold on what's his name now? It's been so long.
Viserys.
Viserys.
Yeah, Viserys.
And then even when he's fighting that one guy and he's like not even using his weapon and he freaking rips the guy's throat out and tongue out. It's that little snippets of greatness, and then he just dies at the end of season 1. It was like I was so disappointed when I'm like, he's dead. You motherfuckers, you killed this guy so
Yeah,
easily.
I was
Like, and he
disappointed
dies
with how they
such a
killed him.
wimpy way. Such a wimpy way. Like it's. I
Falls
was
off
like,
his horse.
come on. Yeah,
The most
and he's like,
ironic death of all.
it's an infection. That's like, that shit like that happens.
That was a
It's crazy.
disappointing, very disappointing death to me. And while we're on the subject with no show notes, I'm going to say that another disappointing death to me was Oberyn.
No,
Yeah. Oh well, his pride
No.
kind of killed him.
I didn't want to see him die, though. You know,
but it was a sick death. Like it was a amazing,
can't watch
crazy
it.
death.
Yeah.
still can't watch it.
I was disappointed that Roose Bolton died the way he did. I kind of wanted a Stark to be the one to kill him, not Ramsay. Like that was a little bit disappointing to me. I mean, I love that he's dead. I just didn't like that
I
it was
thought
Ramsay.
it was good. No, because he got betrayed by his own son, and that was his biggest sin was
Yeah.
betrayal to
Yeah.
John. So
Also,
I thought that was fitting,
notice where Ramsay stuck the knife, the exact spot where he stuck Rob.
right? Yes.
That
That was beautiful. It was
I
poetic.
mean, I was kind of happy, but I'm like, you know what? I kind of wanted a Stark to do it, and I kind of, like
See, now we're getting to the truth.
this is true because the Starks, and I'm still waiting for some Stark to say the Starks send their regards. Like, even though,
That
like,
would be
I just
corny.
like in my mind, I'm thinking, let a Stark kill someone that was affected the Red Wedding and say the Starks send their regards. I mean, I thought that would just be like just poetic justice, man. That's me personally. But
Eric says, in order for Danny to grow as a person and as a leader, Khal Drogo had to die. And Armani says, pride is the burden of foolish people.
Yeah, I think he's talking about pride as in Oberyn.
Yeah.
but Oberyn,
And it sucks.
it wasn't pride. He needed the world. He wanted the world to know that Tywin ordered it. That's the whole point. Like,
Okay,
he
let's
knew
say
the
cocky,
mountain
because he
did.
was cocky.
It
He
wasn't cocky.
was. Yeah, I think
He
he was
knew-
kind of cocky.
He knew the Hound. Okay, so he knew the Mountain did it, but Tywin kind of always had this thing where he kind of like, I didn't know he did it. I didn't order it. He did it on his own. That was always Tywin's defense. He even tells Oberyn that in the brothel. Like, that was all Mountain. And I'm like, no, you knew you ordered that shit, okay? And he was trying to get he was trying to get the Mountain to admit to Tywin, just so the whole world knows that Tywin did it, because he wanted that, and so he can have a justification. I mean, he just wanted the world to know that Tywin did it. Like, I think that's the real reason why he did it.
Yeah, but what is he going to gain out of that?
Maybe
'Cause-
Dorne goes to war with the Lannisters. I think that's the end goal. The Dornish have always there's bad blood there. John Arryn, I don't think did enough to kind of, because it was John Arryn who brokered the peace after that, and I don't think he did enough. There was no justice, I guess, for what happened to them. Like, I mean, and I think
Right.
there's a lot of resentment over the years, and then the Oberyn thing, and then Doran doing nothing was just like the last straw. Like the Dornish, they're very prideful people. Like, I mean, when like that scene was, I love that scene, by the way, when she kills him, and the look on the soldier's face, they were disgusted that this guy is just sitting back and letting, you know, Dornish Dornish people die at the hand of Lannisters. It's you should have if John Aaron was smart, he should just offer the Mountain's head as like a broker of the peace with Dornish, and that would have solved their problems. So
I was kind of sad to see Prince Dorn killed that way, honestly,
I wasn't.
because I thought that you guys remember hearing about the Dorn conspiracy, like the secret theory and the big secret plan.
Books.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
It's
that
more
there's
of-
a lot of parallels there, and between the book and the show, and I think you'll get some of it, but it's not going to get. I feel like the show, hopefully, is not spoiling some of the stuff that's going to happen in the book. I mean, ultimately, it will. I mean, because they're running parallel for the most part, so you're going to get some. But I just feel like a lot of stuff that I wanted to see is not going to happen the way that I imagined it before I saw season 7. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I'm a little bit worried about that. I know that a lot of people don't watch the show and read the books, which is a real shame. But for us book readers and show watchers, I feel like it's a double-edged sword, really. Eric says
Yeah.
the show ruined Dorne after Oberyn's death.
I don't know that. Honestly, I think that the only good thing about the Dornish plot line was Oberyn in the show. He was a fantastic
yeah.
character. They built him really well. They portrayed him really well.
His
He fit the series
Yeah,
really
his-
well, even if he didn't completely go with the book storyline.
his first scene was where he's like in the brothel and he just hears the rains of Castamere and he's like, and then Lyra is like, Oberyn. He's like, Oberyn, and he gets that look, and then he goes in and he puts his hand over the candle and he's like talking. He's like, we don't see much Dornish people here. We don't like the smell. He's like, we don't like the smell. I love the way he says like, I don't see a lot of Lannisters where we're from. We don't see a lot of Dornish. We don't like the smell. And he's like, you pigs. And he's like, you Lannisters are all pigs. And then he just stabs the guy in the wrist. And I'm like, long. It was so funny. Oh my god, that was awesome scene. And then I think my favorite though is when he takes that jab at Tywin and he goes, they say gout is a rich man's, because Doran had goat, and so Martell Oberyn's like, goat is a rich man's. Too bad you don't have it. And then Tywin's like, other people have no and he says something about cultures, and he's like, yeah, in some cultures rape, and in other cultures the rape and murder of women and children are frowned upon. And he's just like the jab at Tywin at the wedding was just awesome.
John, I love how excited you get. So excited you miss all these details.
Right, those were 3 different scenes that you just
I know.
talked about.
Squirrel.
Oh yeah, but I carried
Squirrel.
on. I said that was. And then I
Squirrel.
said well, my favorite
Yeah.
scene was. I said it before. I said my favorite scene was. I like that scene. And my favorite scene was episode 2 when he just takes that little jab at Tywin. And then of course my favorite's when he accepts Tyrion when he's like, I'll be your champion, because that was a very emotional scene. Like I was like tearing up there because he was telling him about how Cersei was like showing him Tyrion was like a monster. He's like, he's not a monster. He's just a little baby with a pink cock. And he's like, and then she was like pinching it, and then he's like, well, what about what I want? And he's like, justice. If you come to justice, you come to the wrong place. I disagree. I come to the perfect place. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
John is literally getting a boner right now. I'm so proud of you, John. Eric says Pedro Pascal killed it as Oberyn Martell, and I agree. When I first heard, I think we did a podcast about that. We did an episode just about Pedro Pascal being casted for Oberyn, and I'd never seen this guy before. I think a lot of my co-hosts at the time hadn't. I don't remember. Were you on that show, John?
I don't remember, but
Yeah, it was a while ago. It was a couple years ago, obviously, and I was worried because I'd never seen this guy before. And as Oberyn, He was perfect. I can't imagine anyone else playing that character. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't like how his. I mean, I read the books. I knew how his story was going to end, but at the time, it really hurt. I was like, wow, this is a really awesome character. That it just shows George doesn't give a shit. He's like, hey, this is a great character, and he's dead. And then, of course, the brutal head exploding, watermelon scene. I'm only ever able to watch it one time, and I cannot bring myself back to watch it. Whenever I go through
over and over again.
and binge watch again, I stop right before it happens, and I just skip right to the next episode.
Yeah.
He's good in he's good in Narcos, guys. If you want to watch more of him, he's good in Narcos.
I gotta check that out.
And he might be the father of Lena Headey's baby. We're not 100% confirmed, but
Nobody
there
will
is the rumor that he's the father. But
know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to get into his personal life, but they were really close as far as like being BFFs and whatnot. I follow all these people on Instagram, so I see them posting like Emilia Clarke and Jason Momoa are always, whenever they're in the same location, they take pictures together. And I know same thing with Lena Headey and Pedro. They do the same thing. They take pictures together. It's cute.
Is there
Yeah, I
a,
love-
Yeah,
is there
a
a show
lot of
called
things-
The Graham Show or something like that?
the Graham Show.
Yeah, I was watching some British show, and I just caught Emilia Clarke on there, and like her character as Danny and Amelia are so different. Like Danny's like very serious, like "Oh, I will burn you, asshole," but then when you see Amelia like laughing, she laughs like no one's business,
yeah,
and
Oh,
it's so
yeah.
cool to see her out of character, just dressed like normal, very humble.
She's
Absolutely
really bubbly
Yes.
and happy
Yep.
and like a genuinely
Yep.
a sweetheart.
I would love
They're
to
all
sit with her at
different,
a
like-
bar and just drink.
like Sophie Turner and Maisie are like totally different people.
I
Like
feel like that they're like they're a tag team of troublemakers, but not bad,
Yeah.
like fun, like pranksters,
Like
on
adorable
set. Yeah.
troublemakers.
Yeah.
what I like
Getting in
is
trouble. Yeah.
they're all have success outside of Game of Thrones, which is amazing. Like Emilia Clarke's in the Han Solo movie. Macy is in the Runaway, not the Runaways, the New Mutants, which the trailer I haven't seen the trailer yet, but she's in New Mutants. Sophie
Mhm.
Turner is Jean Grey
Yes.
in X-Men. What's blah blah blah. Brienne is in Star Wars. Jason Momoa is in Aquaman. Like it's so amazing seeing all the cast play like are getting success outside. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else, but they're all having success outside of Game of Thrones, which is awesome. I'm so happy for all of them.
Tom is saying that Pedro should be in a spin-off of Oberyn's adventures prior to Game of Thrones events, learning to fight, going to the Citadel, etc. That would be awesome. Or even if
Yeah.
we just got a book,
Yeah.
or I don't know if you're talking about a book or a television show right there. But if George wrote a book about just Oberyn's adventures, George literally has created a world where it's similar to Star Wars, or I would say in terms of the directions you can go, because there were so many spin-offs of Star Wars books, that made a ton of money, and
That
George could do that, and he has a huge universe he could build off of, and I think that whatever George puts out that's Game of Thrones related, I will buy it, even if it were a bag of shit with a stamp on it.
yeah, like well, the difference is that George is doing this while writing books. Like it's crazy. Like he's doing this whole thing. Star Wars, the reason they did that was because they did the 3 movies and then people wanted more. So in between the original 3 and the prequels, you got all the novels, comics, and everything. We're just seeing this big world in just the 5 books that came out. Imagine what's going to happen when, like, 10 years from now, when God forbid, whatever, if he passes away, that the rights will just go to someone else will just publish it or whatever. Like there's so much there. Like it's great.
I
There's so
thought
much
about-
money to be made.
Yes, I thought about the same thing actually over this summer when they were just starting to talk about the spin-offs and how HBO is talking about doing spin-offs and all these different things that they're doing, and the first official Con of Thrones came out this year, and I thought about it and I was like, this is getting really big.
Yeah.
Like, this is not just an award-winning television show anymore. This is a movement the epic size of Star Wars, because Star Wars came out in 1977, I want to say. So it's 40 years old, and it is the following just crosses
It-
every generation. You've got conventions just for Star Wars. You've got conventions that are just nerd conventions that include and happily embrace all of Star Wars. And Game of Thrones is on that level. It really is
Yeah.
on that level.
Because we're in the age of universes. There's the Star Wars universe, Marvel
Mhm.
universe, DC universe, like Transformers getting a universe, Harry Potter is getting
Godzilla.
to universe, the Godzilla, and now Game of Thrones is they're gonna go into universe soon. I posted something, I don't know if you saw it. I posted a while back where it was a picture of all I think it was all like the prequel ideas, and I said which ones would you want to see?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that one. I'm like, like any of those ones. It was like Valeria. It was Long Night. It was the Dance of Dragon. I can't remember all of them. Blackfire, Robert's Rebellion, all that stuff. And it's just like you could just do like a show.
Are those the proposals?
It was. You remember I posted it back like a while ago. It
Yeah,
was,
and
like,
they're
all
talking
the-
about like
and
what
I-
they could possibly do for spin-offs.
what would you want to see as a spin-off? And
Right.
it had like all the titles, and people were like saying like they want to see Valeria, and I think like some guy said he wanted to see like the origin of the Lannister house or something like that. So it's like awesome.
Well-
I'm like, I want Robert's Rebellion, to be honest. That's my
So George Lucas is still alive and still
he's sold-
kicking.
yeah.
Right. And even before he sold it to Disney World or whatever, to Disney, people were writing fan fiction about his
Oh, yeah.
universe, and they have been for decades now. I think people are going to start writing
I
fan
have
fiction
fan
and
fiction.
selling it, and they'll be selling it, and
I have
it,
fan
it might
fiction.
not be canon, to the
Yeah.
story, but I think
Yeah.
it's going to get really big, like we were just talking
Well,
about, like really big.
It's all in my head. I haven't written it down yet because I'm not a good writer, but I have been doing a fan, and I'm gonna one day release it because I'm not a good writer. So, but I have like a fan fiction about what happens like 200 years after Game of Thrones ends. Like, and it's like I'm working on it, and eventually I'm gonna release it. Maybe I'll do like a podcast thing where I just talk about it. But it's set 200 years after after Game of Thrones ends. So. But the difference between Star Wars and Thing is George Lucas needed to sell it because
He wasn't doing anything.
it's not just that.
Everybody else was doing it, and there was so
He
much
can't-
mishmash in the canon.
The difference, like George can write so many. George Lucas can't write dialogue. He
No, he
can't
cannot
write.
write.
He can't do characters. He can
Right.
do the special effects, but like he can't do it. And now it's so much better that he sold to Disney.
Yeah,
'cause-
well, George,
but-
I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying here, John. George Lucas created this amazing world, but he couldn't make it any better than his initial vision, where the other writers and directors and other people of talent were able to expand it and make it awesome. And he realized he needed to sell it to continue it on, and he knew the fans wanted to do it. And thank God he did that, because we're gonna get even more now, thank you to Disney. With George is the master of his universe, and he's creative enough to create his world, enhance his world, and he even has other people to help him to make his world awesome. So he's making the necessary steps. I think he learned from other franchises and universes' mistakes. I'm not saying that George is the best writer in the world, but he definitely is way better than George Lucas, and I mean way better.
Trin, I don't think. Are you still there, Trin?
Yeah, I just keep my mic muted.
I
so
don't
you
think
guys don't
you're
hear
gonna
background.
see a Disneyland section of Westeros in Disneyland.
I mean, or
I
Disney
think you're
World.
gonna.
That would
I
be
think
awesome.
you'll see I think Harry Potter has their own actual.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Universal.
They do, yeah, but
So-
they do like Pirates of the Caribbean. They do,
West-
Harry
but that's-
Potter.
But that's
Harry
that's
Potter's in
Disney
Universal.
owned. But that's I know. But Harry Potter has their like actual own theme park, and
Mm-hmm.
Disney's getting a Star Wars one. But Disney only will do it if they own the rights. Like they're not gonna buy West. Like they're not. I mean, they might.
Well,
They're gonna own the world.
George
Like
isn't gonna live forever, and so it's possible that
yeah,
once
they might.
he
'cause-
moves on out of this world, they could try to buy his shit.
Well, yeah,
and
because 3 companies.
he
are gonna
doesn't have
rule the
any
world.
children, does he? Or I think wait, he
I'm
does
not
have
sure.
children. Hang on, let me look that up.
Well, 3 companies are going to rule the world. Okay, Amazon, Apple, and Disney. Okay, they're just going to rule everything eventually.
I would put Google in there. I would say 4.
Not because I think Google is going to get someone will buy. I think Apple will buy Google. I mean, Amazon pretty much like Toys R Us is probably bankruptcy now. Amazon just bought. I mean, we're going way off topic, but anyways, let's.
So the point you're trying to make is that it's going to be Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and what are the other 2 franchises?
Well, I mean, I just want to see I just hope HBO gives us a prequel right away and not because there was supposed to be a Sopranos spinoff and it never happened.
Yeah.
Sex and the City was supposed to get something and it never happened. So I hope
I know how
HBO
disappointed
just
you
goes-
were about that one.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, it was
But
Sex
I'm
and the
like-
City.
I'm hoping that. See, what I wish they would do is in the year that we're not going to get Game of Thrones, throw together like a 4 throw together like a 5-episode mini thing about Game of Thrones. Like throw that together. You don't need I'm not expecting like a ridiculous budget or production. Just give us something. Spartacus did this when their main actor who played Spartacus got cancer
Oh, I
after season
remember.
1.
Holy shit.
So
Yeah.
he couldn't film season 2. So they did Spartacus was season 1. Then they did Gods of the Arena, which is like a prequel to Spartacus
Yes.
about the house.
It was
Um,
really good.
Yeah, because the main actor Andy Whitfield, God rest his soul, he passed away. He got cancer, so they did a filler of that. And I'm wondering, obviously they can't because the filming, but I'm wondering, it would be nice if they gave us like a 4 or 5 episode, even a 4-episode something with Game of Thrones in 2018, because to make us wait a year, like from August to next year, that's a year to 2019. That's a year and a half where we're not going to get Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. Like
As
who knows how
long-
long? Because and we don't even know. Like that could come out April of 2019. So you're looking at like from August of 2017 all the way to April of 2019. We're not going to get Game of Thrones. You can throw. I'm not asking for like the $50 million episode, an episode production, but I'm saying throw us something like a 5-episode prequel spin-off.
How about an animated series just in between?
Yeah, like an animated on Valeria, an animated
Something
on
easy
The
to
Long
do.
Winter's Night. Something where it's not going to cost you like a shitload of money.
The
and
problem
something
is
that
not just money, John. The problem is that it takes so long to do. We the
No,
fans,
but I'm not asking for.
but look at it this way: we the fans, we will literally throw money at George, right? We'll throw money at the Game of Thrones or Star Wars or whatever. But the problem is we can't get it made fast enough. Like we can consume
Yeah.
it so fast,
True story.
right?
I'm
They can't
I'm
make
saying
it fast
do
enough.
like a 4-episode or 5-episode.
But even still, that's
miniseries.
a year of shooting, though.
No, really, not if you like, not if you. It's not gonna be a year. That's like, come on, man. Like,
John,
I'm
how long
saying
does it
just
take to
end
shoot a
in
movie?
November. But
Almost
if
a
you do the
year,
animation-
and a movie is
if you
2 hours and 30 minutes these days. You're
No, a
talking
movie
about
is not
4 episodes. That's 4 hours.
How long
And
do you
you're
think a
gonna
movie
shoot
takes to
that?
make? You take a year to make. It takes like a few months, like at the most, to make a movie. It's
Hey,
just a.
John,
But I'm
re-
saying,
John,
do an-
remember that stamp that thing that I posted like 3 different versions of in our little private chat thing that I was working on with my illustrator. It was the wax seal. That
Yeah.
took me about 5 hours to do because I did it all from scratch. So I know that like animators, when they have to build something from scratch, even if they have the idea, it takes a really long time, even digitally.
I think an animation would work. Like I think an animation would work. I kind of think you could do it because even if they do it like the way they do the extras of the Blu-rays would be kind of sick too. Like if you guys know what I'm talking about, the history and lore section. How about doing that, the history and lore, but doing it like more in detail and because those are like
Yeah, but
You have
those
that as
aren't
podcasts.
those
Reason
aren't
I-
like animated. Those are like
no, but that's I would be
slightly
happy.
moving
But
pictures.
I would be happy if they did that and give us a history of everything you could do. It's not if you, because I love that part. That's my favorite part about the Blu-rays is
Me too.
watching that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
If you did that each week, you did that, and you made, and each week was like, and you did the history of it, and you did over, you do like that. I would be happy, and you do.
There's
full
a way to get
detail,
around
like,
that. It's
Hmm?
called give the money to the podcasters that record all year and already do that for you without moving pictures.
Right?
We're
Or
here.
we could come up with moving pictures. It's not going to be full-fledged animation, but we
Give us the
could
right budget.
definitely.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll make you guys stuff.
Give us the
I-
right budget. We can do
Yeah,
it full
I
time.
think we could totally come up with, you know, uh, with the amount of fans that we have, because I know we have damn near 100,000 fans that download the podcast
Yeah.
and watch us and listen to us. So I know that we could come up with a couple of artists that are willing to sketch out a couple of pictures, and we could produce something that was 15 to 20 minutes long, once a week and there's writers. I'm positive that there's writers and creative people in the audience that have ideas just like John, and we could come up with these cool stories to give you guys like it's not going to be canon, but it's going to be damn close.
I'm just not thrilled that I'm waiting till 2019 for Game of Thrones. Like, I'm just like, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be epic, I'm gonna love it, but I'm not gonna like 2018 when April, May, June roll around and I'm like, there's no Game of Thrones, man. What the hell?
Could you imagine though, if we
Gets
did,
me through my work week, man, is knowing that I got Game of Thrones on Sundays. That's like, I remember like Saturdays,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, it's like,
and you're not the only one that feels that way. I get messages all
Yeah.
the time. Thank you, Thronies, that saying, "Hey, we want more Thrones," and I'm like, "We're trying." If we did not have those pesky day jobs, and we were making enough money by doing this full time, just imagine how much content there would be. No lack of content until the next season came out. It's just we have
There would be no lack of content for 20 years.
we have. It's just
What's-
it's not doable right now.
what's amazing is you were talking about fan fiction, right, Trin? About Star Wars.
Yes.
So another thing that's big in Star Wars is the fan made movies. Just wait till people start doing fan made Game of Thrones stuff. Like,
Oh yeah. Well,
'cause-
BTIT
'cause-
plans on doing it. I
'cause
totally plan on
fan-made-
doing it.
because Star Wars is huge for fan made, like people, and give credit to Star Wars, they actually kind of like allow people to do it, like, but there's a lot of like there's a documentary about this. I can't remember what it's called, but like they talk about like it's huge, like Star Wars and fan made films. Like people did that one on the Stormtrooper, like it's crazy, like. And I'm waiting. Game of Thrones is gonna be wait till fans start doing their own Game of Thrones like stuff. It's gonna be crazy.
All right, so I think we're going to end it right here. Unfortunately, we have to make this episode end. I will read here. Let's see. We have Eric says if they are going to do a spin-off series, do it right and take your time with the script, filming, and post-production. I agree. Charlie, yay! Charlie says shit, yeah. Eric says I'd rather wait until 2019 if D&D need that time to give me the best 6 episodes of the series and write the best script possible to end this series in a high note. Totally agree with you, 100%.
Hopefully they do.
Charlie says unless HBO does like Star Trek and sues.
They won't.
And hopefully they don't, because that's really suicide on your franchise.
Yeah,
because
that's terrible.
Star Wars did not do that.
No, they actually did a competition.
welcomed. Yeah,
And
they
did a
welcomed
competition,
that.
I think, too. So
Cool. Let's do it. Send some money to the podcasters. D&D, George R. R. Martin, and send us some money. We'll help make it even more epic than it already is. We already do. We already do that, and we've been doing it for years for free because we absolutely love and believe in it, and of course the community. Speaking of the community, like Trin mentioned, we're getting a lot of downloads. We have a lot of people that are a part of our BTIT TNRT army, and I got to say, where are you guys on Facebook? Over 100,000 downloads, and I don't see you guys in Facebook. Come on now, join the club. Go to facebook.com/Behind the Iron Throne. There's a big link there. It's pinned right to the top that says join the BTIT community. #BTIT. Become a part of the BTIT army. It's an amazing group of people. We have some of the best community that I have ever been a part of, and I've been podcasting now for about 4.5, almost 5 years. with different types of podcasts and marketing and videos and all kinds of stuff. And we would really like to have all of you here on our BTIT, in our BTIT club. It is a lot of fun. It's easy to get to. Either behindtheironthrone.com or facebook.com/behind the Iron Throne. It's all right there. And yes, we are working on t-shirts.
We're gonna have a Patreon soon, Charlie. So look out for that whenever it comes up. So it's gonna be fun stuff. And
We have a basic Patreon right now. That's just for
Yeah.
people to show their initial support, like Mama Cheryl does. Yay, Mama Cheryl!
Cheryl,
And
where are you?
very grateful for that. And we're going to be adding more and more levels so that when people donate, they get different kind of rewards. We're going to
Thank you,
even
Cheryl.
yes, we're even going to have a reward where you'll get an extra podcast that'll be
And-
exclusive to our Patreon subscribers.
And what we might do is, because I just thought about this, because another podcast does this, but for Patreon users, what we can do is we'll give you a bunch. You can vote on what next topic you want the bonus episode to be on. I mean, I have to
Yeah.
see if Chris is down with
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
And send us and if you do Patreon, send us ideas for podcasts. Even not in Patreon, just send us ideas for podcasts. We're gonna be doing this a lot, so we're gonna need a lot of. So if you have ideas, hit us up on Facebook and give us your ideas of what episodes you want to see. I know me and Chris want to do like an episode on battles.
Mhm.
We want to do something on. We just mentioned earlier. We want to do something on the Lord of Light and the gods and stuff like that. And so, send us your ideas.
Yes.
We'll
And keep in mind, we're not going to get rid of the free podcast. We're always going to have the free podcast because that's what built this beast to where it is. So, and thank you, Armani, for your carols. I think that Andrea is keeping track of all those, and I may even try to start singing some during some of the shows, especially.
Oh God, I'm so excited for Christmas carols,
get-
West
yeah.
Rosie style.
I'll sing too. So
When we get
there you
closer to
go.
Christmas, we'll do some.
Oh my God,
do
all
some
of us
singing.
on this
Yeah.
show, we're gonna do Christmas carols via Armani.
Yep.
Armani, keep writing them, and we
Yeah.
will practice offline, and we will do this.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be epic. And of course, Trin had laid down the gauntlet for a fun competition that had to do with
Pumpkins.
pumpkins.
Yes. Yeah. And I was feeling kind of crappy this weekend, but this week, okay, got a little full schedule, but I'm going to get a couple of pumpkins this week. Mama Cheryl shows up. She's flying in on Friday, and we've got a big weekend plan coming up. But I will be back on the podcast on Sunday next week, and I will display some pumpkins for you guys to give you guys some ideas. And before Friday, I will have something posted on what you're going to win, how the contest is going to go. We have to look into all the legal stuff of that. But yes, we're definitely doing the pumpkin
Yeah.
contest, Game of Thrones style. And
It'll
I'm
have to
super
be U.S.
excited.
only.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's rule. That one I remember from the legalese. It has to be U.S. only. Unfortunately, but that's one of the ones I can remember off the top of my head. Yeah, but big shout out to JB for helping me. He gave me some really cool T-shirt design ideas. He made me some basic Behind the Iron Throne supporter podcast T-shirts that I'm going to send over to Trin so she can take a look at them, and we're going to see if we can make some shirts and figure out how we can get them to you. A lot of interesting stuff. We're very excited to do this podcast and have this community for you, and I couldn't be more pleased with my co-hosts, John and Trin and Andrea, Yardley, and maybe Gisela in the future if we can get her on a podcast. It's just been an amazing adventure, and if you would have asked me if I would have believed this would have all been possible 4 years ago, I would have said, no, I wouldn't have believed you. But here we are, and it is just humbling. So I love you guys to death. Hashtag BTIT forever. Trent, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know you've been feeling a little bit ill. Please tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Thank you, Chris. I have been a little under the weather, but you know what? I can't miss you guys because I just love this community so much. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Dovahkiin Trin, and I will talk to you and respond to you the same day. Maybe not right away, but the same day. I love you guys, and I look forward to hanging out with you at the cons.
Trent, you're a lot better at getting back to the fans than I am. I'll give you that credit. People
Thank
message me,
you.
and I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, okay. I'm like at my day job with a customer, and I'm like, I'll get right back to them. 2 days later, I'm like, oh crap. I was supposed to
I'm
get back
actually
to them.
I'm really good at social networking during the holidays because I won't be in school after this week. I'm taking a session off. So
Oh, good.
I have a day job. I have a huge family. I have a farm that I'm working on, and I do a couple of podcasts. I play video games like it's my job. But I'm going to take some time off from school so I can fit all of my other fun stuff in. And we're going to be producing just all kinds of cool stuff for you guys. I'm really excited. So yeah, if you want to talk to me, that's fine on Twitter, Instagram. Otherwise, email Andrea. Follow Andrea too, because I don't have her information right now, but I really want to plug her.
On the Facebook. You can find her on
Yeah,
the Facebook. She's
she
there.
loves Facebook.
all
She's
over
on
the
there all the
place.
time.
Yeah, her and I are Facebook people. We love Facebook. Oh, real quick, Charlie says, bumper sticker. The great Sept of Baelor was an inside job. Love it. It's awesome. We should have Charlie help us come up with some ideas, bring him into the fold. Jonathan Stonemoss Darklever, Lord Duckdarian of the Wicker Army. Where can people find you besides in Canada?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, John50, Twitter, John Stomas, MySpace, Snapchat, Periscope, Pinterest, Tinder, Judate, Mingle, Christian Mingle, Greek Date, Lava Life. I'm all over the place. I mean, so hook me up and I'll talk some Game of Thrones. So there you go.
That's awesome.
And I look forward. This is the off season. These are like all the episodes are great, but this is where we're gonna get into some crazy shit. Like especially when Andrea comes back, because it's gonna get crazy, guys. These episodes are gonna get crazy. Andrea's gonna make you think. Okay, she's gonna make you change your mind. She's gonna make you think. She's gonna go in depth. I mean, it's crazy. So guys, these episodes are gonna be crazy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Armani says, I'm on Dragon's Mingle. Are you on that,
Awesome.
John?
No, but I am now. I'm on Wolf Mingles too.
He's
I'm on
he's
Wolf
literally on his
Wow.
iPhone doing it right now, downloading the app, and he will before I hit
Is that
stop on this
real?
recording. It probably is. It's like, you remember how the old saying there was a magazine for that? Well, now there's an
Yeah.
app for that.
There's an app for that, yeah.
Pumpkin
Remember,
challenge
I
accepted.
discovered an app where you can cuddle with people. Chris knows this.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
John used
Who's
to
on
come,
People like
Apple
sell their cuddling services, don't
Yeah.
they?
John used
It's
to
an
come
app.
on to the Apple podcast that we haven't recorded this weekend, unfortunately. I was going to record that today with you, John, but I didn't get a chance to message you. But on Apple time, we talk about different apps and stuff for iOS, and John came up with this one. What was it called? The app, the Cuddle Buddy or something?
It's something where you can hook up with people just to cuddle.
That's adorable.
Right?
See, my first thought was, wow, that's
Yeah.
creepy. I could just cuddle with a blanket
No,
or my wife.
Well, you
that's
have
a
to
good way to
understand.
get women, though,
You
because
have to
girls
understand the
really
backstory
love
to this.
cuddling.
There's a backstory to this, which is me and another co-host was trying to see who had the weirder apps, and I'm like, challenge accepted, and I got weird. Like, I have weird apps, man. Like, it's crazy apps I've
Yeah.
discovered.
I don't know if you want to share that.
No.
We're saying is check out Apple Time. It's a great podcast if you are into Apple products. There's a big update. So we just had a big iOS
Yeah.
update. So
I was
iPhone 10
after
came out.
after we get done, I want to ask you if you want to pop back on the show. I also got a new Apple Watch band. It's really nice. Can't wait to show it off on my video channel. I'm not going to pimp it. You can find out all those links in the show notes. And of course, if you'd like to support us, head over to BehindTheIronThrone.com. We have the link to the Patreon. And in the description of this video, whether you're watching live at Facebook.com/BehindTheIronThrone, or just in the podcast itself, in the show description, there's a Audible link. In that Audible link, you get 2 free credits. That's right, just for trying it out. We get a little bit of a commission for you checking it out. And you can pick out any books that you want with those 2 credits. A Game of Thrones book, any kind of fantasy book, self-help book, whatever you like. They're yours to keep, which is really awesome. And it helps to support your favorite podcast here at Behind the Iron Throne. #BTIT, baby. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time for another great podcast.
Sophie Turner, you broke my heart. I'm happy for you, but you broke my heart.